back to the Guts to Critique. We are doing Captain America 4 spoiler review, and later on we're going to chat a bit about the MCU, what's coming, what we hope for. So yeah, and we also have a very special guest with us today. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jill Pearson. I'm one of the film teachers at Bedford High School and been teaching here for about 17 years. I think that's how long we've been open. I also have my master's in screenwriting, so I really enjoy film, and I'm really excited to talk about Marvel movies today.
Okay, so shall we just get straight into it?
Yeah.
You want to start us off?
Yeah, so my general thoughts on Brave New World overall were I thought it was a step in the right direction, especially with where the MCU has been recently, and it finally felt cohesive again. It felt like a shared universe. I thought all the action was really cool. I thought Harrison Ford carried the movie, but I also thought it was still plagued by all the same problems that the other movies have been plagued by, which is the obvious reshoots, the occasionally janky CGI. And so I thought it was a mid-Marvel movie.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was a step in the right direction, like you said, and it was definitely kind of better than what we've been getting, but it still had some of the problems. And there was one scene where Red Hulk picked up a pole, and it looked so bad. And I felt like he looked really short in that scene too. It just was a weird scene. And then they cut, and it got much better, but. Yeah, I agree. Harrison Ford carried the movie, though Anthony Mackie did do a really good job. So, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun watch. About what I expected. It actually was a little better than I expected. I don't know. I kind of have had a low bar lately.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I liked Anthony Mackie. I thought he had a strong showing. Harrison Ford was great. There were a few moments where I cringed at the CGI special effects, but overall, decent action. I feel like it's a strong step forward.
Yeah.
Where we're going.
I think I'm just gonna jump straight into the spoilers. The best part, in my opinion, was when Bucky came on screen, but then he had such a weird part, and I was like, oh, well, at least we got Bucky.
You're allowed to say part. That's the spoiler review.
What?
You're allowed to say what part specifically is the spoiler.
He was running for a congressman. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was I'm gonna get straight into the spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil. Yeah, he was running for a congressman, and I feel like that doesn't fit Bucky's character. And not to mention, now we're gonna get Thunderbolts, and he's the total opposite of a political figure. So that was really weird. But I liked seeing him get back with what's his face? Sam. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing him again. It was weird that he's running for congressman because he was a terrorist for a while.
Not his fault. But.
And that's there's a hot take, or I guess not hot take, but a lot of people think Bucky should have gotten the shield and become Captain America, but it's well, but he also killed a lot of people and worked for Hydra. Yeah, and I didn't really set up Thunderbolts, really, because, and I think at, CinemaCon yesterday, they said that, his congressman career is very short-lived.
I thought it was funny. I kind of enjoyed the humorous take when they were talking, and then he was like, that was your speechwriter, right? I enjoyed that moment. But as far as, I think we're getting into a little bit of a political landscape with that, which I guess is setting up probably future storylines. But I do, so hearing that it's short-lived also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about that. I enjoyed that it was more a political thriller, like Winter Soldier was. And I'm not a big fan of the Winter Soldier movie, but that's one of the things I liked about it. It was more grounded. And in general, I think the MCU is better when it's grounded and not so over the top and goofy.
Yeah, I enjoyed that about this movie, especially the timeline, figuring out the timeline and where we are in the universe and what's happening. It did feel like it grounded it, which was nice.
The plot, it felt like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, but without the Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's this whole plot line of gamma radiation, these pills and stuff, and it's oh, I wonder who would be a good person to look into this stuff. He's not in this movie though. And it just, it felt like there was a Hulk-sized hole in this movie. that it's a sequel to The Incredible Hulk that stars Captain America, and that just felt a little bit off to me. And kind of to that, you can kind of imagine a better version of the movie where, like, Captain America by himself, Sam Wilson, is nowhere near powerful enough to stop Red Hulk.
No.
So how do you, like, who can help him out? Well, you have two other super soldiers in this movie, Bucky and Isaiah, or you could just bring in Smart Hulk, who we've established is a weaker version of regular
Right.
Hulk, so that neither of them can stop him on their
I
own, so
forgot
they have to
about
team
Isaiah.
up. Like, they could have done like a Thor Ragnarok thing where it's like Hulk is like a co-lead, but they didn't do that. And they didn't even announce him in the casting for Doomsday, so we're still waiting on when we're gonna see
Which
Hulk
we'll get to
again.
that later.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that, because when you said that, it just made me think of the whole slogan that he had running for like his campaign, "Together, period."
Yeah.
And the fact that, yeah, it would have been stronger if they had used that
Yeah.
together in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree. I also, Isaiah, they, oh, and Betty, I want to mention her. Betty? Betsy? Betty.
Betty
Betty.
Rose, yeah.
Yeah, Betty. Isaiah, I liked when they brought, like, how they brought him into it, and he was, like, training with Sam and stuff, and that was a really fun sequence. And then the new Falcon, why can't I think of his name?
Joaquin?
Yeah, thank you. Joaquin, he was just like, oh, yeah, I got you, old man. Oh, you're a super soldier. And so I thought that whole sequence was really funny. Betty, they announced that the same actress would be coming back, so it was like, oh, yeah, she's going to be in a movie, okay. And she came in towards the end for, like, what, 2 minutes of screen time?
She was on the phone for.
She was on the phone.
Yeah, that.
Right. So her voice had longer screen time than she actually did.
It also just looked weird the way that, like, they filmed her coming. She was, like, behind the bars only, so it's like, okay, clearly she was on, like, some kind of green screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, afterwards.
I really
And-
thought, sorry.
It just Betty, I did not think was utilized very well.
No.
Where, like, I kind of thought they were gonna use her to diffuse Red Hulk.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
going to say.
the build-up led that way.
Yeah, and
right?
they were under the cherry blossoms.
The cherry. We'll talk about that. The symbolism with all that.
It may be a little bit cliche, like they did it in Justice League with Lois diffusing Superman, but, like, it still works and they set it up. And so just having the cherry blossom be like I don't know. It felt like they did not know how to use her character, and they just wanted her to be in the movie. So
That was a little bit of a letdown, I felt. The build-up, I thought, was going to be much bigger, like a bigger reveal.
Yeah.
It was pretty lackluster with that.
Yeah. And I think one of my main points that I mentioned in our last episode, The Spoiler Free, I felt like it was very anticlimactic, and so when we got to the Red Hulk fight as the final fight, I didn't really realize it was the final fight, because I felt like Red Hulk would have appeared much sooner in the movie since he's in all the advertisements, and I feel like that would have been something better if they hadn't advertised like we mentioned.
So yeah, I think that's more of
100%.
I think that's more of a complaint of the advertising and not of, like, the movie itself. Because I fully realized that was the final battle. I thought it was it's because, like, the movie had already gone on for, like, almost 2 hours. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the big
This is it.
climax. And also, the villain had already been defeated. Leader, like they already captured him.
See, that was my thing. That's why I thought it was like anticlimactic, and I didn't understand that was the final battle, because it wasn't with the villain; it was with Red Hulk. Because the villain was, I don't know. I feel like he didn't even really. He did so many unnecessary things, and then they just arrested him like it was no big deal. And I was just like, oh, so that's over. So what's left of the movie? And then after the Red Hulk scene, it just ended, and I was like, oh, okay.
The Red Hulk twist would have been better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a given.
If they had, like, I mean, he Leader, is that his name, Leader? He
Yeah.
made Harrison Ford Red Hulk. I feel like it would have been kind of cool if they had him controlling Red Hulk, and then they arrested him, and it was like they had to fight Red Hulk to get to, like, I feel like that would have been more climactic.
Yeah,
And, like,
I can see that, but I do think that they should not have leaned on Red Hulk for the marketing,
No.
because what is the poster? It's him holding the shield, him punching the shield,
Yeah.
and like he's in like all of the trailers, and like when you watch the movie, he doesn't. Yeah, like you said, like they kind of tease it throughout, like it's supposed to be a twist and like a surprise, but you already know it's coming.
They revealed too much.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just felt like they were holding off until the end.
and like,
yeah.
and for the small role Betty had, they could have also kept her a secret. I feel like
Yeah.
that probably would have had more of an impact then.
But actually, let's talk about the leader, but because I had some very mixed feelings. Like I was really down for bringing him back because they set that up in The Incredible Hulk.
Mhm.
What was that, like?
It's 17, it's 16
like
and a half.
17-ish years.
Yeah.
They set that up. It never went anywhere until now. And there was like this leaked like promo picture of Leader where like it was like the actual actor, but it was like a comic accurate appearance. Like he just has like a long head, like
the
Megamind.
smooth, like
Yeah, instead of the creepy tumor looking.
Yeah, it was like a Megamind looking
Yeah.
thing. And then, so I was like, oh, okay, like they're going for it. They're going comic accurate. All right, it looks a little janky, but I think I can get used to it.
Yeah.
And then you see him, and it's like this tumors and stuff growing off of him. And they kind of used, like, they clearly did not know how to write him, because it's the cliche of like, oh, well, I calculate all the probabilities, and it's all going according to plan. But they didn't actually do the work to like make it feel like he actually put that in place.
Yeah. So he's Dr. Blue from Mr. Blue. Not Dr. Blue. He's Mr. Blue. From,
yeah.
And I felt like in Incredible Hulk he was such like a good guy. And
well,
so
the gamma radiation got in his brain.
yeah. And the tumor, I don't know. I actually struggled to look at his head. Like most of the time I could look at it, but then when they would show the front of his head, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was actually more comfortable looking at the brain part than the bumps. It was like, oh.
Did you have any thoughts on Leader?
Well, I feel like he could have been developed a little bit more. I mean, he's such an interesting character, the way he developed and how he became what he became, and the fact that he we're probably assuming he was in this during the blip. He existed while.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
So he probably was like, all these changes were happening over that period of time, which is what made him evil. I feel like they could have explored that a little bit more and made him a little richer character. Visually, I'm on the fence. I mean, I would have liked more comic book accuracy, but I do think it would have looked really terrible. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe they went too far into like the Last of Us fungus head kind of.
But they made like the fishbowl Mysterio thing work. So I feel like
they
could have
did.
done it.
So I almost.
But then again, MODOK looked pretty weird.
Yeah, like I almost can forgive if it's comic book accurate, if it looks a little weird. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I forgot about MODOK, honestly. MODOK, whatever.
But if it's really cheesy, it's hard to buy it.
Yeah, and I feel like that was part of the problem with MODOK. Even like not only was it CGI about it was just a cheesy character, and so I feel like if they did that similarly with Leader or someone else, it probably would have been bad.
But that's another thing that makes it feel like Hulk is missing is that he's a Hulk villain, and he's the exact opposite of Hulk, where instead of being extremely strong, he's extremely intelligent.
Which I want more
so,
explanation as to why that happened.
It's more interesting to pit him up against Hulk than Captain America.
Actually, I feel like that was. Should we just rate it and then?
Did you have any other thoughts?
I don't know.
You talked about the cherry trees a little bit.
Oh, the cherry blossoms. Yeah, I was
blossoms.
gonna say that was a symbolism that just like slapped me in the face the whole movie. Every time I'm like, wow, there they are again. It's gonna be important. And I guess tying in like Japan and all of those pieces there, like it was kind of interesting. It made me kind of think about how it's also reflecting like some current like social political things that are going on, which is interesting. Which is, I guess, a throwback to when the original comic was created and all those things. So I really appreciate that part of it. But the cherry blossoms, I thought were overused and then didn't really mean as much as I expected.
Yeah.
So I was really expecting more of a reveal when he sees his daughter and all of that, and it kind of fell flat for me.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I think the director did an interview where he said that like it had like an emotional attachment for him, and that's why he put the cherry blossoms in. And I don't know, I get what they were going for, but it felt like they didn't really do the work to make it feel earned at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to rate it now?
Yeah, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. I think that's what I gave it in our spoiler free review, so I'm like right there in the middle, I guess.
I don't remember what I rated it, to be honest. I think I gave it a 6.5, and if anything, it went down, honestly. So it's probably... Can't do a range, so yeah, I guess I'll just stick with 6.5 because maybe if I watched it again, it'd be better, maybe. So yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7. It was better than I expected it to be. I wanted more from my villains. I wanted more development, but I did really like the establishment of Anthony Mackie's version of Captain America, and
I like the new suit.
yeah, I feel like the upgrade and all of that. I enjoyed that, and I liked his relationship with Joaquin. I think that'll be interesting to explore. I was surprised by the Black Widow, Ruth.
I don't remember what her name was.
I think Ruth.
She got a lot of crap on the internet for being short.
Hey, don't pick on short people, okay?
I wasn't expecting much from that character, but she ended up being a little richer than I thought.
I also don't understand why they brought her in though, unless they're gonna bring her back, and I don't want them to bring her back.
I don't know either.
So you liked Joaquin?
You didn't.
Am I on an island here?
Yeah,
I
you
did like him. Yeah.
I thought he was annoying.
He didn't even remember him from Falcon and Winter
that's
Soldier.
kind of his role, though.
Yeah, he's like
But
he's a young guy. He's
but not,
arrogant.
like,
He hasn't learned
not
anything
annoying
yet.
in like a charming, funny way. Just like annoying.
He didn't.
Like,
Okay.
he kept cracking these jokes, and I'm like, oh, is that supposed
But
to
you
be funny?
also didn't remember who he even was.
Exactly. I didn't remember who he was. I didn't remember he was in.
So I feel like just draw the line. You're over there. We're over here. This is the fun side of the island.
I am on an island. I knew it.
Yeah. No, I didn't find him that annoying.
No,
I mean,
I liked him.
I thought he was
Yeah, I thought he was fun.
typical side.
I liked his dynamic with Sam and Isaiah, but I did not like him.
You also had a Miami Hurricanes shirt on. I appreciate him for that.
Great. Okay.